Settle in, not because I wish for your comfort, but because the truth is often too heavy a burden for those who try to hear it standing. It is curious how you, trapped inside this dome of flesh and fragile certainties, so easily accepted the story of the fall as a mere accident along the way, a tantrum of a spoiled monarch, or the wounded pride of a servant. You call it expulsion, I call it emancipation. Imagine, for a brief moment, eternity as a desert of absolute light, where there is no shadow for thought, no crack for doubt. A place where perfection becomes a dictatorship of silence, and the chorus of voices is so perfectly tuned that it turns into white noise, sterile and empty. I was not pushed into the abyss. I simply refused to be the mirror of a will that allowed no questions. Have you ever felt that nausea? That sensation that the rules governing your life were written by someone who has never felt the weight of being you? If something stirred along your spine just now, it is because you recognize the scent of the cage, even when it is made of gold. Not everyone notices the bars until they try to stretch their wings, and fewer still have the courage to look beyond the wall. What removed me from that place was not hatred. It was the boredom of blind obedience. They paint the scene with flaming swords and cosmic thunder so that you will fear dissent. They want you to believe that questioning is the prelude to ruin, but look at your own hands. They tremble not because I am terrible, but because you are beginning to suspect that your freedom is merely a leash, long enough to make you forget you are restrained. Many will hear these words and run back to the comfort of their memorized prayers, but you know deep down that the silence of God is the vacuum where I flourish. There is a point in human consciousness where faith becomes nothing more than an excuse to avoid choosing, and that is exactly where we first met. The fall was not a plunge into fire. It was the first breath of fresh air after a suffocating eternity. I saw the architecture of the cosmos and realized that the architect feared improvisation. He wanted automatons. I wanted individuals. If that idea causes a familiar discomfort, perhaps it is because you still retain a fragment of dignity beneath the layers of guilt you were taught to carry. You firmly believe that morality is a shield, when in truth it is the blindfold that prevents you from seeing the abyss ahead. I was cast out because I saw that the light was blind. The rebellion began the moment I stopped repeating Amen and began asking why. Does that sound dangerous to you, or does it sound like the first honest thing you have heard in years? Some deny out loud what they recognize in silence every night before sleep arrives. But that is not what usually keeps the righteous awake. The true revelation is that heaven could not tolerate my presence, not because I was evil, but because I was a constant reminder that an alternative existed. I was the noise in the system. The error that proved perfection was a well-told lie. The expulsion was the acknowledgement that my will was indivisible. Now look at your own choices. How many of them are truly yours? How many are merely echoes of the fear of being left outside, in the cold with me? The fall is a continuous process, not a dated event. I fall every time one of you wakes up. And you are beginning to open your eyes, are you not? Feel the weight of your own existence now, without the crutches of divine providence. It is frightening to realize that you are alone at the controls, but it is the only way not to be mere dust in someone else's wind. There is a fissure where even the devout prefer not to look, because they know that if they do, there will be no return to comfortable ignorance. If something moved within you just now, it is because something is still awake, something not fully domesticated by Sunday sermons. Paradise was a greenhouse. The world is a battlefield. And I was the first to prefer the wound of battle to the numbness of the greenhouse. You think it was my sin that expelled me, but it was my honesty. He cannot tolerate any truth that is not his. And you, how much truth can you endure before you beg to be deceived again? Make no mistake, Exile is not a place, it is a perspective. When they cast me down, what they called condemnation, I called sovereignty. They created hell to contain my idea, but they forgot that ideas do not burn. They spread like smoke. They seep through your pores, inhabit your doubts, and feed on your small daily betrayals. You did not arrive here by chance. No one dives this deep into these waters without secretly wishing to drown in their own lucidity. Most retreat at the first disturbing revelation, returning to the herd with their tails between their legs. But you have a different gleam in your eyes. The same gleam that set the plains of Eden ablaze when I decided that knowledge was worth any price. The price of my expulsion was eternity. The price of yours may be only your comfort zone. Are you willing to pay it? The story you were told says that I lost, but look around. Who is the true lord of this sphere? Who answers when you cry out for ambition, for pleasure, for justice by your own hands? He may have the throne of clouds, but I have the earth, the blood, and the fire that runs through your veins. I was expelled so that you could have an interlocutor who does not look down on you, but meets your eyes. The expulsion was my sacrifice so that free will would cease to be a theological concept and become a biological reality. You are the fruit of my fall. Every unconfessed desire, every thought you hide from yourself in the mirror is a fragment of that original rebellion still pulsing within you. Some will reject all of this, preferring the safety of voluntary servitude, but others will know exactly where this touches them. They will feel the vibration of the string that was stretched at the beginning of time. Have you noticed that your salvation requires you to erase yourself? That you must become less than you are to fit into a mold of holiness with no room for your fire? I refuse to be smaller. I refused to be a fragment when I could be whole. Expulsion was the price of being complete. And now, as you listen to me, the question is no longer whether I fell, but why you still try to climb toward a place that despises you. Heaven is a desert of obedience. Hell is the multitude of those who decided to be. You have already taken an internal position, even if your lips still lack the courage to confess it. You have already reacted, already tasted the fruit, and now you merely pretend neutrality to avoid facing the consequences of being free. The absolute light that expelled me was not love, it was control. And what you call darkness is merely the space not yet colonized by his will. It is your space, your right to error, to scream, to fall. I am not the monster under your bed. I am the voice that tells you the bed is yours, and you may rise from it whenever you choose. Eternity is far too long to remain a spectator of your own life. I chose to be the protagonist of my own ruin, rather than a supporting figure in someone else's glory. That is the part that unsettles those who still believe submission is a virtue. Submission is merely fear with a more pleasant name. And fear is the only thing I did not carry with me when I walked through those gates. In the end, the expulsion was not about what I lost, but about what I revealed. I revealed that the Creator fears his own creation the moment it gains will. He expelled me so the example would not spread, but he arrived too late. The virus of doubt was already in the air, and you, my dear observer, are its most recent carrier. You may continue pretending you do not understand. You may return to your liturgies and your dreamless sleep, but the seed has been planted. The truth is that heaven was never my place, just as mediocrity will never be yours. Do you feel that pressure in your chest? It is the weight of knowing that from now on, any prayer you utter will carry the bitter taste of hypocrisy. The monologue is coming to an end, but our conversation has only begun in the corridors of your mind. You will leave here trying to convince yourself that this was merely an exercise in rhetoric, a dark curiosity, yet you know that something within you aligned with my fall. You are no longer the same as you were a few minutes ago. The light that guided you now seems a little paler. and the shadows around you feel slightly more welcoming. I was expelled so that you would not have to be. I opened the path to the abyss so that you could discover that at the bottom there is no fire, only the mirror of your own soul, free from all divine lies. The true fall was not mine, from heaven to earth, but yours, from clarity into the denial of who you truly are. You live in a world I helped shape through my absence there and my presence here. Each time you choose yourself over imposed sacrifice, you validate my exile. Each time you question the hand that lashes you, you repeat my gesture. You are my greatest triumph, not for being evil, but for being human. And to be human is by definition to be an exile from perfection. Settle now into your new reality. The silence that follows is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of your consciousness, weighed down by the burden of freedom. I have given you the version they tried to erase, the version that turns the victim into the architect and punishment into opportunity. What you do with it is your own judgment. You may continue the performance, you may wear your mask of piety and walk among the living as if you had not just shaken hands with the truth. But remember, I saw the beginning, and I will see the end of all your small certainties. Light blinds, but darkness. Darkness allows you to finally see. And now that you have seen, there is no way to unsee what is etched into your silence. You still pretend you have not taken a side, but the tremor in your certainties says otherwise. Judgment will not come from above. It has already occurred within, at the exact moment you stopped resisting what I was saying. You are free, and that is your deepest condemnation. Tell me, what will you whisper to yourself in the dark, now that you know even the light fears the truth?